Pitching, pitching, pitching. You have to have it to win. And so far this spring, it's been the Cardinals' young and talented arms that have impressed the most. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm Hafron, a former national radio sports anchor, born and raised in St. Louis and a lifetime Cardinals fan. Welcome into another episode of Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Thank you to the everydayers for always being here. Thank you to those of you who are new to the podcast. Appreciate you stopping in. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving you all the info about the birds on the bat. Today's show, we've got not one, but two games to talk about, plus the Cardinals Hall of Fame nominees have been announced, and boy, oh boy, is this going to divide the fan base. At least I think it's going to. We'll see, but we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But let's start with the two road games that the boys just had on Tuesday night and then on Wednesday. Tuesday night, they ended up losing by a score of 6-1. Then on Wednesday, they shut out the Mets 6-0. And I know you see the score on Tuesday, and it wouldn't seem like the pitching staff was really all that good. But 5 of the 6 runs, those came across in the bottom of the 8th inning off of Mason Molina, Tyler Brott, guys who really aren't expected to make any impact on the roster, at least not this year. Maybe in the future at some point, but not this year. In both games, the Cardinals' 40-man roster pitchers, let's put it that way, looked pretty darn good. Tuesday night, you had Andre Pallante on the mound. He got the nod, and he does what you're really not supposed to do, which is walk the leadoff guy. And everything was up in the zone, like way up in the zone. Unfortunately, this game was not on TV. There's not going to be a game on TV for a while after Wednesday, so be prepared for that. But he was up in the zone, way up in the zone. And not to really make an excuse for Andre, but, sometimes you get out there as a former pitcher. Sometimes you get out there. First off, adrenaline pumping. It's your first game of spring against a different team. And maybe you're not used to your surroundings. Maybe you're not used to the mound. Maybe you're not used to the footing. You're working on arm slot. Number of different things could get into that equation and cause a pitcher to have a rough start to the game. And clearly, Pallante was not comfortable from the get-go. And when all of these things combine, normally that's when you're up in the zone because you're trying to figure out what's comfortable out there. Walks are bad. We know this. Leadoff walks are really bad. And the runner did end up coming around to score thanks to a Joel Pozo error at first base. But Pallante did not give up a hit. Strikes out 2 over 2 innings. He did have a wild pitch in there. But once again, something that I would deem a successful first outing in spring training. Now, if this is how he started the game during the regular season, you'd be like, gosh, man, we're in a hole already because of this crap. Well, spring training, we're a little more lenient. All right. So the people in the comments section who get mad about one error or one walk or whatever, if you're all worked up about that, you are never going to make it through the season. So just simmer down now. After Pallante leaves the game, you get 5 straight shutout innings from 2 lefties, Justin Brule, Packy Naughton, who ended up striking out 2 hitters. We got our first look at Teen Kentz, who fired an inning and didn't get hurt. All right. Great success right there. Skylar Hales looked good. Austin Love knocked out those next 2 innings. And in those 7 innings, the Cardinals pitching staff allowed allowed 1 run, 2 hits while striking out 7. All right. I got my stats all weird on my page here, but ended up striking out 7 Nationals hitters. So very commendable job. And it's a shame that Molina and Brott had such a tough time finding the strike zone. It's not they got knocked around the ballpark. They couldn't throw strikes, especially Brott, who came out and threw 12 pitches. None of them were strikes. Really tough outing for him. They gave up 1 hit, but 5 walks, and the Nats jumped out to that 6-1 lead. Then on Wednesday, the pitching staff throws 9 shutout innings over the Mets, who didn't have their B team in by any means. Juan Soto was playing, Francisco Alvarez, Mark Vientos. Those guys were in the lineup. We got the Cardinals' debut of right-hander Richard Fitz, who was acquired in that Sonny Gray trade, and he looked pretty good. We got some of the normal bullpen arms in the game as well. People you're going to see during the regular season. Matt Swanson could be the closer. Probably should be the closer out of the gate, but he came in. Gordon Graceffo, we got to see. Chris Roycroft working on things, trying to make this team. Lefty Bruce Zimmerman, switch pitcher Gerangelo Senja, Luis Gastelum, my dude, finished off the final 4 innings with Senja throwing 2 of them, all from the right side, and the Cardinals were able to get some much-needed offense and take the game on Wednesday 6-0 to move their record in the spring to 3-2. So we have now seen in the first 5 games, we've seen 5 of the 7 possible starters for the Cardinals. And each one, again, this is my opinion, you may feel differently. But in my opinion, I think all 5 of them look pretty darn good considering it was their first outings. You know, first appearances, pitchers are usually ahead of hitters in the early part of camp. So you don't want to get overly excited about the good things that they do. But you are allowed to admit when things are good, Cardinals fans, just because this is set up to be a down year for the St. Louis Cardinals doesn't mean you have to just be full of piss and vinegar the whole time. Like, you don't have to be angry and upset at everything that happens. Just understand that coming into the season, there's probably going to be a little more bad than good. Prepare yourself for it. And if it doesn't end up that way, then great. But starter-wise for the Cardinals, Libby, Leahy, McGreevy, Palante, and Fitz have combined to throw 10 innings. They have allowed 3 runs on 7 hits, 2 home runs, 1 off Leahy, 1 off McGreevy. They've got 12 strikeouts and just 1 walk, and their opponents have a 189 batting average against them. Now, eventually, the batters will catch up to the pitchers. It always happens, and there will be rougher days ahead at some point, and that's okay. We know it's coming. But this is what spring training is for. It's to get your body, get your mind in shape, and get it right and ready for the grind of what the regular season is going to be. So drink those numbers in right now that we're seeing from the starters. Enjoy them while they last. Don't let the trolls bring you down. If you're enjoying watching Cardinal baseball or listening to Cardinal baseball, since we don't get as much TV as we want so far, it's okay. Don't let anybody else bring you down and ruin it for you. You're allowed to be happy about what you've seen so far. Same way as the negative people are allowed to be upset about some things they've seen so far. That's fine too. But don't feel bad about enjoying what you're seeing. Go ahead, smile about it. Because it's one of the positive things that's going on with the Cardinals right now is that the pitching staff, for the most part, has looked pretty good outside of a couple of bad innings here and there from a few of the guys that aren't really going to be around during the regular season anyway. Of them have had bad innings that are going to be around, but for the most part, it's been good, especially these starters. But it's not the only positive thing. There's other things that are going on. You know, it was a fugly night at the plate on Tuesday, but we got a nice offensive day on Wednesday from the team, which included a big fly from Nolan Gorman, which was awesome to see. We're going to knock out the 3 stars from both games. Coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. Don't let it. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. It's the best way to do it. I've been doing taxes for a very long time. I've never enjoyed trying to do it myself. I've given it a couple of goes. It hasn't worked out great. Don't do it. With TurboTax Full Service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert start to finish without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out the forms, figure out the numbers, make sure you don't screw anything up so the IRS comes chasing after you. You can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They're going to handle everything from your W-2s to your self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction you deserve. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It is a huge time saver. It gives you a real peace of mind knowing that an actual expert is handling it and it's not on your shoulders. And for a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. That's a great price, you guys. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, this deal applies. Just make sure you file before February 28th so the clock is ticking. Take taxes off your plate. Get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Now that baseball is back, you can lock in by joining the Everydayer Club, which gets you those ad-free episodes. You don't have to listen to commercials anymore. You get access to our group chat on Discord. It's for Cardinal fans, but of course, just MLB fans in general. For the next week or so, too, we're going to be using that code SPRING, SPRING. That's going to hook you up with a free month, so give it a try. So go to lockedonstlcardinals.supercast.com, or you can tap the link in the show notes to learn more. So the offense, it can't be all sunshine and rainbows. The offense has struggled so far this spring. I admit that. It's okay. It's happening. It's not just the Cardinals, but the Cardinals are struggling pretty good. And as I said earlier, pitching is usually ahead of hitters this early in camp, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that the offense, which it's limited anyways. We know it's going to be tough to score runs in 2026. We had a feeling that these guys would struggle for the most part. And thus far, that's what's happened. They had just one run on 3 hits in Tuesday night's game. Not nearly good enough. And none of the 3 hits were actually by any of what I would deem regular active roster guys who are playing. Although Victor Scott, shout out to Vic, did successfully pull off that squeeze play to get the team's lone RBI, but 0 for 2. Doesn't have a hit yet this spring. Thomas Saggese, 0 for 2. Jordan Walker, 0 for 3. Pedro Pajes, 0 for 2. 2 strikeouts. Doesn't have a hit yet. Infielder Ramon Mendoza had 2 hits. Shortstop Jeremy Rivas also had the other one. So those are guys that aren't expected to make much of an impact at the major league roster yet. So that's not what you want. You want to see some of these starting guys doing a little damage. On top of that, the defense also made 2 errors. You had the one by Pozo that I mentioned earlier over at first base. Then infielder Cesar Prieto had one in the 3rd inning. Just not a great night to find stars for the team, really. So bit of a struggle. So these 3 stars for Tuesday night's game, I get it. They're not, when I say star, there wasn't a whole lot of stars going on. I'll go number 1 and number 2. I'm going to give them to our 2 lefties, Justin Brule and Packy Naughton. Now, Brule worked around the air by Prieto. He ended up having to face 3 righties, got a K, ended his inning by getting national star James Wood to ground out. He was the only lefty that Brule ended up facing. And, usually you want to get as many lefty-on-lefty situations as you can. But to be able to come in and also be able to get right-handers to not do much, that's great. You want that out of lefties, lefties that can get lefties out, which is something that they're supposed to do. But if you can also get the righties out, man, you become a real weapon there. Packy also faced 4 hitters. 3 of those were righties. He allowed the 1 single to Ruiz, but struck out 2 guys, both of them on changeups. One of them was swinging. One of them was looking. I don't know anyone who is not rooting for Packy. A guy that had a couple of years taken away from his career because of injuries. And we liked him when he was up a couple of years ago. And I think we're all rooting for him here, too. He's looked good so far in the 3 innings of work that he's had here in the spring. My number 3 star, I'm going to give it to Andre Pallante. Now, hear me out before you start getting all upset and worked up. I know I'm going to catch a little bit of heat of this. But again, there wasn't a lot of stars to go around, okay? But we know Pallante had a shaky start with the leadoff walk. He then throws a wild pitch, moves the guy because he stole a base. Then he goes to 3rd on the wild pitch, ends up scoring on the air, ends up settling in, though, and had 2 good innings. He ended up striking out 2, both of them on breaking pitches, and induced a double play to end the 1st inning. Now, if Pallante is going to, in my opinion, he's probably going to be a part of the bullpen before he gets into the rotation at all. But if he's going to be that guy, those are the things they need him to do, is induce double play balls, with that sinker that he has. That's what they need from him. So to see him get one of those, great. Shout out to Mendoza for having the 2 hits. Just wasn't much to write home about offensively for Tuesday night's game. It wasn't great. It was boring to listen to. I'm kind of glad it wasn't on TV. I would have fallen asleep for sure. Wednesday, though, different story. Cardinals offense banged out 10 hits. They score 6 runs in the shutout victory over those pond scum Mets, which I don't know if people still call them pond scum. This was an 80s thing, so people who were born after 1985 probably don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but that was a thing. We used to always call the Mets pond scum back in the day. So if we kind of stop doing that, I say we bring it back. Have a little fun with it. But they were able to shut out the Pond Scum Mets. Number 1 star of Wednesday's game, we're going to go with Nolan Gorman. That's right. Nolan Gorman had himself a dinger. Like, of course, that's going to take the number one star. Biggest hit of the day when he hit that Oppo Taco 3-run shot in the top of the third inning against Mets starter Jonah Tong. Former first rounder Chase Davis hit a leadoff single. Leadoff man J.J. Weatherholt took another walk. He's now got 4 of those this spring and 7 plate appearances. And after Fermin flew out to right, it brought Gorman up. He got ahead in the count 2-1, and Tong made a nice pitch. It wasn't like this was a cookie right over the heart of the plate. It was a cutter, low and away of the strike zone there, the corner. It would have been a strike, but Gorman took it that way, which is what you like to see. You don't want to see these guys trying to pull off on it and yank it down the line. He goes the opposite field. 386-foot shot over the wall in left center. 3-run bomb. It's his second hit of the spring. First home run. That makes it 3-0. We know about the struggles of Nolan Gorman the last couple seasons. Great power, not enough contact, very frustrating for the fan base. I'm sure it's very frustrating for hitting coaches, for Gorman, because all through his career, until the last 2 seasons, all he's done is succeed. Former first-round pick. Bomb after bomb in the minor leagues. We couldn't wait to see this guy up in the major leagues. And then we get that rookie year, and he goes crazy. He hits those 27 home runs. We're like, we've got a star on our hands. Last 2 years, we don't know where that guy went. It's fizzled out. The haters are going to continue to hate about Gorman, and that's fine. Until he's more consistent, it's hard to argue with him. I get it. But another positive is that he's only struck out once so far this spring. So he's swinging. He's putting the ball in play for the most part. And he's looked pretty good over at third base, too. Has had a couple of really nice plays and hasn't looked out of place whatsoever. So a lot of good, positive things for Nolan Gorman. No, he's not a superstar or anything like that. But still, positive things for a guy who needs it, because we need him to be more. We need him to be the guy we wanted him to be a couple of years ago. We need that guy back. All right. Sticking with the offensive side. Number 2 star goes to Chase Davis. Give it up for Chase Davis, everybody. Cardinals selected the left-handed hitting outfielder, first-round pick, 2023, number 21 overall. Some names taken after him, which is because I love to do this. I don't mean to rub salt into the wounds, but Mariners top prospect Colt Emerson went the very next pick. Astros Bryce Matthews, who was up last year, went at number 28. And this is the one that's going to sting more than any of them. Kevin McGonigal, who's arguably the top hitting prospect in baseball, went to the Tigers at number 37. Yeah, that would have been nice to have. But good day for Davis. And although he had big power numbers in Arizona, we know that that power hasn't quite shown up the way we thought it would so far in the minor leagues. The swing still looks good. I got nothing but good things to say about his swing. Colton Ledbetter's swing is beautiful. I like that thing as well. But Chase Davis had the big day. Swing was good. 2 for 3, 2 ribbies, runs scored. Both RBIs came in the 6th inning when he came up with the bases loaded and 2 outs, snuck one in the hole between first and second. Just got past the second baseman's glove. You had to watch the Mets telecast today. So the Mets announcers were talking about, normally you would think the second base would be able to knock that down and keep it on the infield and get the out, but it didn't happen. And it wasn't like a weak grounder too. He hit it just over, I think it was like 105 miles an hour off the bat. I know it was triple digits, put it that way. So it wasn't like it was a little weak ground ball that just snuck through. But it found a hole, and that's what you need. So putting the ball in play, we can tell you good things happen when you put the ball in play. So that was great. Great to see Chase Davis coming through and being successful. And when we talk about the lack of standout players as far as like outfield prospects go for the Cardinals, it would be nice to see Chase Davis take that next step after being a part of that good team at AA Springfield last year. Hopefully some things have, clicked for him and he goes off this year. That would be huge for this farm system and for the Cardinals in general. Number 3 star. I'm just going to throw this one out to the entire pitching staff. Let's give it up to the pitching staff on Wednesday because they were great. Hard to pick just one of them, but they all did their part, looked really good doing it. Fitz, as I mentioned, he looked strong. Swanson was good. Senja going 2 innings was fun, although he did only throw with the right arm, which we figured was going to happen. But he punched out 2. He was hitting 96 comfortably on the gun. And then you had my guy, Luis Gastelum, who needed just 8 pitches to finish off the Mets in the 9th inning. was popping 95 with the fastball and then was coming back with an 82-mile-an-hour changeup. Absolutely filthy. It's not fair, and I'm glad he's wearing a Cardinals uniform. Both of his changeups that he ended up throwing, of the 8 pitches that he got to throw, he got swing and misses on. It was hilarious. One was for a strikeout. Man, oh man, do I have high hopes for this guy. And he's going to be going to the World Baseball Classic, so it'll be fun to be able to see him pitch there against some really good competition. And, it was cool watching him today. I am big-time fan of Luis Gastelum. I'm excited about him. He's somebody that you should keep both your eyes on. So there you have it. Those are my stars. Let me know in the comments section who you think deserves more attention for their play or what stood out to you in these last 2 games that you would like to discuss, good or bad. You want to bring up bad stuff? Yeah, J.J. Weatherholt booted another one. He did end up getting one of the outs, but it was on a Juan Soto ground ball. Playing at shortstop, wasn't able to field it cleanly. Only got the one out at first base, but that's the third ball that he's messed up on. So hasn't been an easy go for him so far on the infield, but I'm not mad about it. All I did today on X too, because I pointed it out and people were like, "Oh, I guess we got to trade him now. Why is everybody being so hard on this guy?" I'm not being hard on him. I was just pointing out that he fumbled a double play ball. All I was doing was relaying what happened. I was not yelling about it. I don't want to trade him. I don't want to bench him. I don't think he sucks. Everybody calm down a little bit. I think he's great. He's going to get his confidence back on the field. He's going to be fine. I'm not worried about it. But you guys let me know in the comments section what you think about the last couple games. Up next, we're going to talk about the Cardinals Hall of Fame nominees. Those were announced on Wednesday. 2 of them, legends. Legends. So let the debate begin. Who's getting in? Who you voting for? We'll talk about it next on Locked On Cardinals. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting there wide open. Not a great feeling. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs from Indeed. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for. We're talking about the right skills, the right experience. They're in the vicinity. They're in the right location for your job. That way, you're not hoping that the right candidate just stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been here talking with you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, do the smart thing. Spend less time searching and more time interviewing the candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. So go to Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support our show, Locked On Cardinals, by saying that you heard about Indeed on this show, on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. So the Cardinals have revealed that silent George Hendrick, Brian Jordan, the two-way star, Yadier, Molina, and Albert Pujols are your modern-day players nominated for possible induction into the St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame. Fans can view the Cardinals Hall of Fame ballot and cast their selection online now at cardinals.com/HOF. Online voting will run through Friday, April 17th, so you got a little bit of time to go ahead and ponder who it is you're going to vote for. Now, the full 2026 Cardinals Hall of Fame induction class will be announced in May, with the annual enshrinement ceremony scheduled to take place on Saturday, September 12th. Get your tickets now, because you know one of these guys is getting in. And to be eligible, a reminder, the nominees have to have played for the Cardinals for at least 3 seasons, be retired as a player from Major League Baseball for at least 3 years. The eligible pool of players is divided into 2 categories. You got the modern players and you got the veteran players. If a player retired more than 40 years prior to the induction year, classified as a veteran player. That's the difference there. So I don't want to take anything away from George Hendrick or Brian Jordan, who both had wonderful careers while wearing a Cardinals uniform. And they deserve the nomination. And I'm not going to argue that either one of them shouldn't be in. I love them both. But let's be honest, this is a two-horse race between Yadi and Albert. I compared it online earlier today to being a kid in the 90s, being a wrestling fan in the 90s when Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior went at it at WrestleMania 6, where you had two baby faces, two good guys, both champions at the time, but you had to make a choice. Which one are you going to root for? This one is not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. I mean, the resumes are bonkers. Yadi, 19 seasons. Second in franchise longevity. Ranks third all-time with 2,226 games played. 2,168 hits. Fourth with 408 doubles. Sixth with 1,022 RBIs. Ninth with 176 home runs. This is a guy that people used to accuse of not being able to hit. Look at those numbers. 10-time All-Star. 9 Gold Gloves. 4 Platinum Gloves. A Silver Slugger Award. Part of the 06, 2011 World Championship teams, as well as the 04, 2013 National League pennant winners. Franchise postseason career leader with 104 games played and 102 hits. I mean, yeah, obviously, you're getting in eventually. Albert, let's go to this side. Tail of the tape. 05, 08, 09 National League MVP award winner. 2022 NL Comeback Player of the Year. Franchise career list. Second with 469 doubles. 469 home runs. 1,397 RBIs and a 614 slugging percentage. Third in runs, 1,333. Fourth in hits, 2,156. Tied for fifth in batting average at 326. 417 on base percentage. 10-time NL All-Star. Won 2 Gold Gloves as a first baseman. Remember when he started in left field? Remember that when his career began there? 6 Silver Slugger Awards. Starred for the 06-011 World Series champions, plus the 04 NL pennant winners. Arguably the best right-handed hitter in history. Arguably, I said. There are other ones that people will bring up, but go look at the numbers. Like, he's right there. I got to pull up on X if you want to vote. Molina has the early lead at 50.8% of the vote. Albert's at 44.3%. And I think the main reason and what people are going to focus on as the difference between the two, because we know they're both awesome and they deserve to be Hall of Famers, not only with the Cardinals, but in Cooperstown as part of the Baseball Hall of Fame. But Yadier Molina was only a Cardinal. Lifetime Cardinal. Never left. Albert took the money, went to LA. You can blame him for that if you want to. Cardinals could have offered more. But in the end, it really ended up being the right move for the Cardinals because Albert's health and production started to dip big time right away. Right away. And it wasn't until he came back to the Cardinals in 2022 and went bonkers in the second half in the, trying to get 700 home runs in the quest for 700 that, everybody was like, oh my gosh, Albert's a stud again. You didn't hear a lot about it when he was with the Angels. And then he became a Dodger for a heartbeat. But when he came back to the Cardinals, all of a sudden, everything was right in the world again. And all of a sudden, the Cardinals were good again in 2022. So, obviously, we love both of them. I wish they could go in at the same time. I really do. But in the end, I'm going to go with the masses on this one, at least so far in this vote. I'm going to go with Yadi this time around just because 19 years in a Cardinal uniform. But let me know why you would vote the way you are going to vote in the comment section down below. There is no wrong answer. It's not. Yadi or Albert, even if you pick George or Jordan, that's fine too. All of them are probably going to get in at some point. But it's Yadi versus Albert. And then wait till next year when Adam Wainwright is able to get in and eligible. So he's going to go up against whoever doesn't make it. So very interesting stuff. Cardinals back on the field at Roger Dean on Thursday against the Astros. Matthew Liberatore scheduled to start. Quinn Matthews scheduled to start on Friday against the Marlins. No TV. So you have to listen to it on the radio. Old school style. Thanks for making Locked on Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Find me on TikTok and Instagram at Locked on Cardinals. Like, subscribe on YouTube. Help our channel. Love for the Cardinals grow. Pushing for 14,000 subscribers. We're getting really, really close to 13.9. If you haven't subscribed already, come on board. Love to have you. And if you never miss an episode, Every Day Our Club built for you. Get Locked on Cardinals ad free plus members only Discord access, and more. Just head to LockedOnSTLCardinals.supercast.com to join the club. Remember to use that code SPRING, SPRING. Going to get you a free month. But do it while it's still available, because I don't know when it's going away. They didn't tell us. And so I know that it's only for a limited time. So make sure you do it if you're interested. And for those of you on video, we'll send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure your second listen is Locked On MLB with Sully. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason. And I will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.